The Paw Paw fruit. Probably one of the most underrated devil fruits in all of One Piece. It gives you the ability to repel anything. You can shoot people thousands of miles away in days. You literally get the ability to absorb pain and transfer it onto others, meaning Naruto probably would get the ability to not feel pain anymore. It's just OP, and he could even repel himself to different places for instantaneous transportation. It's incredible. I don't understand how the Paw Paw fruit isn't more legendary in the One Piece world, but it isn't. But here in the Naruto verse, it's gonna be so broken. So if you guys are excited for that, definitely make sure to slap that like button, seeing as it'll help the video do a ton better in the algorithm. And do yourselves a favor and enjoy the what if.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
So, where should I even start with this one? I usually start these videos off with Naruto finding the tree or being given it by Hiruzen or something like that. But for today's video specifically, I figured I would take a different approach. Usually, most of my what ifs start off when Naruto's a kid or when he's like 7 years old. But today I figured, why not start it in the Land of the Waves arc? We're in the moment. Naruto literally just told that Zabuza that how could he be so cruel? If that's what the ninja world's gonna do, then he never wants to become strong, right? He screams that, and Zabuza turns to Naruto, telling him that his words cut deeper than any knife. Tears begin to flood out of his eyes, and he rushes at Gato and his men, beginning to pretty much kill all of them and rushing towards Gato himself, as he then kills him, and all of Gato's men are standing there shivering in fear, as Team 7 is standing there themselves, and Kakashi decides that instead of just letting them get away with said boat and just like letting them run with their tails between their legs, he's gonna do something. And so all of Team 7 would be told to rush in and beat down on these men. A lot of them would decide to jump into the water and swim away, and one of them would go onto the boat. Naruto chases him inside to the area where he would turn it on and, begin running away, but Naruto kicks him. He's like, Uzumaki kick, you know what I mean? Kicks him and he, cracks the dude's head open. Naruto then looks around and finds this small little coffin treasure chest thing, right? He sees it and he immediately is just like curious. He's like, what's this for? He sees the key laying around and he grabs it, he shoves it in and just twists it. He opens the thing and he sees this strange look. It looks like a paw, like a cat paw or something like that, right? And when he sees this, he grabs this little fruit looking thing. And, obviously at the same time, Sasuke would come into the boat. He sees Naruto and he's like, what do you got there, Naruto? Naruto looks at Sasuke. He's like, nothing. No, nothing. He has his hand behind his back. And Sasuke's about to reach and get it, but Naruto just turns around and just eats the whole thing. He's like, I'm not gonna let you, right? And Sasuke looks to Naruto and he's like, Naruto, what are you? And Naruto just makes the face of just the most disgusted thing that he's ever tasted. He looks at Sasuke and he's like, ugh. And Sasuke looks at Naruto and he just starts bursting out laughing. Sakura comes in and he's like, what's all the commotion, right? Naruto looks at her with this face and she smacks him across the head, right? She's like, Naruto, why are you looking at me like that? Naruto begins to hit his chest. He's like, that was disgusting. And suddenly Naruto is hit with this anime knowledge. It was as if he was hit with so much knowledge he could not physically comprehend it. He just hit with this wave of just so much things that he now knows. He's like, Paw Paw fruit? What did I just... And he looks at his hands and now he has these paws on his his hands. They just have these little paws on them, right? Now, Naruto looks at these little paws that he has on his hands and he shows them to Sasuke. Sasuke begins to immediately ridicule him, telling Naruto that he looks so goofy. Now, not only does he have whiskers, but now he has paws. He might as well just join Kiba's little clan if he's so into dogs and cats and stuff like that. And Naruto begins to get pretty angry before Kakashi stops him and he's like, wait, Naruto, how'd you get that? Naruto explains that he bit into that fruit. Kakashi analyzes the remainders of the fruit, and he's just like, interesting. He then goes on to try the fruit himself, like take a bite out of it, and it's disgusting, but nothing happens because the power already transferred into Naruto, right? But basically what ends up happening after this is Naruto is just looking at Sasuke, who's currently telling Naruto he's a loser, yada yada yada, and Naruto gets mad. He ends up hitting Sasuke with his paw and just sending Sasuke flying out of the boat, crashing out, and he lands on the ground and he's just like Naruto, what was that? Naruto looks at his hands and he's just like, did I just do that? And suddenly Kakashi looks to Naruto before telling him not to ever use that power again, asking him what that was, as they rush towards Sasuke and begin making their way towards Konoha. They end up arriving and suddenly Naruto's forced to tell Hiruzen everything about the fruit, about how Naruto has these strange little paw things, and about how Naruto has these strange powers that not even he understands, but from what he knows, he has now the power to repel things, or so that's what he feels like it is. He ends up pretty much looking towards Sasuke and saying that he accidentally sent Sasuke flying with his hand. Hiruzen ask him if this is true, and so Naruto says that it is to believe him. Hiruzen has his Anbu land down on the ground and they make their way towards the training grounds as he tells one of his Anbu to create a shadow clone. He does so and Naruto just taps him with the paw, hitting him straight away. The Anbu member gets sent flying thousands of meters away, straight, it's gone into the stratosphere. And the Anbu member is just like, what just happened? And Hiruzen realizes this. He's like, okay, so Naruto has strange abilities. Noted. Naruto, you're gonna need to get a bit of control over these strange abilities before the upcoming thing. And Naruto asks what that thing is. Hiruzen then explains it's the Chunin exams. And Naruto from here is like, what's that? They then all pretty much get the Chunin exams explained to them, and suddenly now Naruto has this excitement, this fire burning inside of him that's telling him that he wants to become powerful and that he will become, really, really proficient with this power. Sasuke looks to Naruto and tells him that, that power is for losers and that it will never match up to his Sharingan. And Naruto, slightly begins to push his hand towards Sasuke. Sasuke jumps back and he's like, Naruto! And, Kakashi just starts being like, Naruto, you can't do that. Naruto starts laughing and suddenly he goes home. He finds himself training for hours and beat up, boom. We find ourselves in the current moment where Izuku, sorry, not Deku, this is not a Deku what if, but Naruto is just walking with Sasuke and Sakura. This time around, they actually don't run into the Sand siblings just due to the fact that they rush towards the direction of Hiruzen immediately because of the power that, Naruto had. And so because they don't run into Konohamaru, this means no encounter. Yay, everybody's happy, right? But no, that's actually not a good thing. Eventually though, Lee does come up to the group and kind of disrespect Naruto by just being like, Sasuke, fight me. Naruto's like, I'm right here, like, fight me. And Lee just goes on to dog on Sasuke. He's like, fight back, man, fight back, fight, let him get up, He's like, fight back, you know what I mean? And he beats the dog water out of Sasuke until obviously Guy arrives and gets him off of him. He's like, stop, Lee. It punches him across the head and Lee just starts holding his head. He's like, what'd you do that for? And Guy Sensei is like, you needed to learn your lesson, right? Lee immediately starts crying. He's like, you're right, Guy Sensei. And they just go off, leaving Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura to wonder what just happened. And they then find themselves in the actual portion of the written exam. This goes down just like it would in the original. There's no real reason for it not to. And so Naruto eventually, after this, finds himself outside for Anko explaining the rules of the Forest of Death. After this point, everything kind of goes down just like it would in the original until Naruto's taking a leak, right? The dude's, he got his 12-inch schlong out and he's just, he's doing his thing, and this gigantic snake comes in. Naruto sees the snake and he's like, ain't no way. He jumps up into the air. The snake lunges after him. Its mouth is wide open. Naruto lunges onto one of the tree branches, kicks himself out of the way, and then hits the snake with his paw, sending the snake crashing onto the ground with so much force its head just pops. And the snake leaves a crater on the ground because of the repel that Naruto just did. Suddenly Naruto realizes that his team is probably in danger too. So he quickly begins to zipper his thing up and he accidentally catches his, he begins screaming out of pain. He's like, you know what I mean? And suddenly he rushes towards the direction of Team 7. Once he arrives, he sees Sasuke there, and he watches as Sasuke stabs himself in the leg. Naruto opens his eyes wide and he just watches as Sasuke gets himself and Sakura out of that situation, leading them to have to fight against Orochimaru, who is currently trying to give Sasuke a hickey. He's like, come here Sasuke, let me give you a kiss, right? And Naruto just watching this as suddenly Sasuke's about to get hit with this gigantic snake, but Naruto comes in and catches it with his bare hands. Nine-Tails stay activated, saying, you scared? Scaredy cat, right? And then, Sasuke realizes that he's weak and that he's running right now, realizing that he shouldn't do that. And then suddenly we get this moment where Naruto and Sasuke begin fighting against Orochimaru, and Naruto, using his superior speed for the moment, rushes at Orochimaru with his hand, and just Orochimaru laughs, thinking that nothing's about to happen, but Naruto just thinks, get away from here, right? And he hits him with his paw, and he sends Orochimaru flying thousands of miles away. He literally sends him to the village hidden in the clouds. He just sends him straight flying there in the span of like 2 days, right? He sends him flying like a gargantuan distance, and now Orochimaru has to spend the next week trying to get back to where Naruto was, right? So he definitely has time to return for the Chunin exams, but he's not happy about what just happened. He's wondering, because while he was mid-air, he could not do a thing. Literally could not do a thing. He could not use any jutsu. He was just sitting still for 2 days and nights. It was just insane. But after all was said and done, he lands and he's like, where am I? Suddenly the Raikage is before him and he's like, what you doing here? He begins to flex his chest, and Orochimaru's like, I was just sent here flying. You'll never catch me alive. He begins to pretty much use the reverse summoning jutsu, just like Sasuke would, landing in the snake cave and pretty much getting out of there as fast as he could before he could be eaten by snakes, as he suddenly just realizes that kid has some strange powers and he wants it. Not only that, but Sasuke didn't get a kiss in the neck yet. So Sasuke's good. So they were able to rush towards the direction of the actual tower and make it there before the sound squad could actually catch up to them and begin to try to, berate them and fight them and stuff like that, right? So Naruto and the squad are all good, and they basically wait for about 2 days recuperating and resting until eventually the preliminary fights are announced. Now this time around, Sasuke would end up beating the shinobi that he bought in the original much faster than he would have, just due to the fact that he doesn't have a handicap, and Naruto would end up beating Kiba way faster than he also would have in the original, simply by hitting him with his paws over and over, rushing in, and instead of using jutsus, he just rushes into Kiba and Akamaru when they're using their their tailed beast transformation, and fang over fang, right? He just hits them with his paw, and they both are sent flying like cratering into the wall, and Naruto just wins with one attack. He literally just had to stick his paw out and just bam! They were ricocheted into the wall, leading them both to get knocked out and Naruto to move on to the finals. Now it's when it's announced that he's going to fight against Neji, and we're now going to be having a little bit of a miniature time skip to when he ends up meeting Jiraiya. Because obviously Kakashi trained Sasuke, and during the time that Naruto was already training with his paw, he was actually training with Kakashi, so he already had a little bit of special treatment. So now Sasuke gets a special treatment, right? But now Naruto finds himself in a strange situation. He's there with Jiraiya, he sees this dude just perving, and eventually he ends up being revealed as one of the legendary Sannin. Naruto has no idea what that is, but he recognizes that Jiraiya is strong, and Naruto, he wants to get stronger without relying too much on his brand new power. So for this entire month, he pretty much just learned exactly what he would in the original, letting Jiraiya know of the strange power that he was bestowed after biting that weird, remarkable fruit. And Jiraiya is quite shocked by this strange revelation, but he's seen weirder, so he really doesn't care much. So Jiraiya just decides that what he's pretty much going to be doing is just trying to teach Naruto a bit more taijutsu finesse, teach him a bit more control over the Nine Tails, and teach him the summoning jutsu. So nothing really changes until Neji shows up. Please tell me if you guys get that reference. But, obviously the fight between Neji and Naruto goes down like it would in the original, and Neji would begin to essentially, begin showing off his fighting style, fighting with his palms, the palm style. He begins hitting Naruto, and Naruto ends up realizing something. The fighting style that the Hyuga use would actually fit him so perfectly because of the power that he has. So you know what Naruto does? He begins to pretty much begin boxing with Neji. He's like throwing hands left and right. The battle pretty much goes down similarly to what it would in the original, with the exception of Naruto being able to just hit Neji away when, you know, they collide palms and send Neji back flying a couple feet. Naruto realizes that he can't rely on them. So eventually, after getting all of his chakra paths closed off by Neji, he says that, you know, destiny is not real. Ironic, since he has one of the most powerful tailed beasts in the nation. And, you know, he finally ends up beating Neji with a uppercut to the face, sending him flying and knocking him out. And after he does this, he pretty much just goes on to pretty much go visit Hinata, right? He goes to visit Hinata because he knows that she's nice and she might be able to help him out just a little bit. So Naruto goes to Hinata and he asks her one question. Do you want to go out? I'm just kidding, that's not what he asked. But he looks at Hinata and he goes on to ask her if he could help him train. She could help him train, right? Hinata just like blushes and she's like, Naruto could. And suddenly Naruto looks at her and he's like, you know, I noticed that with these new abilities that I have, he shows her his palm and he's like, I realized that with this, I could probably help you. He puts his hand on Hinata and he begins to absorb all of her pain. He begins to absorb it suddenly, creating this paw. And after he has it, he just dispels it into the air. You know, he shoots it up. I'm not sure if Kuma has to essentially give it to somebody else, or if it's a thing where he's able to just shoot it out and just take the pain away just entirely. But we're going to be going under the assumption that he could either take it away entirely or pass it on to somebody else. So that's exactly what he does. And Hinata feels like 100 times better. Hisashi ends up walking into the room, seeing that his daughter feels so much better, and watching what Naruto was doing to her. He immediately gets on the defensive, but he then realizes that he helped her. And after this, he asks Naruto what he could possibly do to repay him for, you know, helping his daughter heal faster. Naruto says that he just wants to train with Hinata for a couple of weeks, and Hinata nods, saying she would love that. So for the following week, Naruto and Hinata begin training, and Naruto asks her to teach him a little bit of the basics of the gentle fist. Not that he wants to have the Byakugan, but just the fact that the movement would actually help him a lot with his brand new acquired Kekkei Genkai that he believes he just unlocked by eating that fruit. Hinata is, of course, obliged. You know, she's happy to show Naruto this. So now Naruto's gonna be this really cool, like, gentle fist Paw Paw user, right? Where all Naruto needs to do to win a fight is pretty much hit you and just send you flying. Or he could shoot, you know, jutsus at you and, you know, do it that way. But regardless, he has options. And Naruto and Hinata, after, you know, all this is said and done, would pretty much find themselves, oh wait, no, wait. Okay, so I obviously know that I just said that they train for weeks and stuff like that, but I completely forgot to acknowledge the literal, the fight between, you know, everybody that would have went down, right? But just because I forgot it, I'm just gonna be saying this. Hear me out. I know this is a little far-fetched, but just hear me out, okay? Right. So instead of Orochimaru being there, no, oh my god, it has to happen. All right, I acknowledge I made a mistake. I'll fix it. Okay, hear me out, boys. So I know everything that I just said with Naruto and Hinata it's still gonna be canon. Like what I said still happens, but it happens after the attack on Konoha. Now, I'm just going to be saying that the attack on the village pretty much goes down just like it would in the original. So sadly, Hiruzen still dies. Naruto still ends up fighting against Gaara and still using his summoning is able to defeat him. So nothing really changes there. But after said fact, he begins learning the Gentle Fist and becomes more of a capable fighter, along with his brand new Devil Fruit ability. So that leads us to where we currently are, where a couple of weeks have passed, and suddenly Jiraiya comes rushing in and he's like, Naruto, I need your help. You know, he drags him out of there with Hinata and he just begins to take him away, leading Naruto to be like, well, thanks Hinata for all the help. And Hinata's like, okay. And, you know, Naruto just leaves the room and, you know, he's just flying away with, you know, Jiraiya sensei just going off and pretty much trying to find Tsunade, which is the next arc that we're about to embark on. Seeing as there's nothing really too special that happened during the last couple of arcs, this is where everything slightly begins to change just a little bit. But keep in mind, right now Naruto is still learning about the Paw Paw fruit, so it's not going to have much of an impact on the general story as of yet. But trust me boys, after the time skip, Naruto's going to be a god. This story is going to be heavily changed after this, and I already wrote down what a couple of the changes are going to be, so trust me, you guys are in for a good one with this one. Trust. But all that out of the way, obviously Naruto during this little training period that he does have with Jiraiya would go on to actually learn the Rasengan with him, and learning the Rasengan is actually heavily beneficial to Naruto. Not only because now he has a brand new jutsu, but because it's just the fact that he can form the Rasengan and hit it off with his paw. He could repel it, so shoot it at people at blinding speeds. Could you imagine that? A Rasengan just appears in Naruto's hand, right? And he just aims it at you and just poof, the Rasengan just is sent flying at you at blinding light speed. That's OP. Obviously, he doesn't have that when he runs into Itachi and Kisame, and he still has to be saved by Jiraiya just because I don't care what Devil Fruit Deku, Naruto has at this point, he's not stepping it to Jiraiya. He's not stepping it to Itachi or Kisame. So for right now, Naruto's still learning how to do things, and eventually the day would come where they run into Tsunade that's in the bar, drinking her life away, regretting all of her life choices, and suddenly Jiraiya walks in, he sits down, and he's just like, "Hey Tsunade,